Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, let's talk about YouTube as a side hustle and if it's really worth it. A lot of people they want to make some extra money, but they wonder what should they do. Sometimes they think that they would like to do something different from their 9 to 5 job because they would like just to be able to disconnect from the 9 to 5 job. And I would like to encourage those people to come on YouTube. Yes, because I believe YouTube is a fantastic side hustle, and one day can become your full-time business, or even full-time business from the beginning, if you want to. But since we are talking about side hustles here, YouTube is a very very good side hustle, but you have to know how to do it. Some people, and I'm talking about experience, when I started to want to do something on social media, everything started last year. I noticed that my mindset was not in the right place. I was still having a hobby mindset, not a business mindset. So what I want to say is that if you want to have YouTube as a side hustle, even if you have a 9 to 5 job that pays you well, if you really want YouTube to be a side hustle, you need to adopt a business mindset, an entrepreneurship mindset. You have a business with YouTube, maybe working 10 hours per week, 15 hours per week, or 20 hours per week as a side hustle. But definitely you need to have that business mentality. If you don't have that business mentality, the side hustle will just be a hobby and it won't really yield any results as a side hustle. The idea of a side hustle is to make money, right? That's why it's a side hustle. It's something that you do on the side. You hustle, you try and you become an entrepreneur, you try to make it work. You put a lot of effort, you put a lot of investment in it, especially in terms of time, in terms of skills, learning something new, and you expect to make money out of it. There are very, very, I don't know any side hustle really where people don't want to make money out of. For me, the definition of a side hustle is to make money out of. So it's a business. That's what a business is, right? A business is an activity where you invest your time, where you invest your resources, and as a result, you make money out of it. Okay. Sometimes you may take a little bit of time to make money out of it because at the beginning when you start a business maybe everything is minus 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 or zero because you have to invest a lot, but that's the mindset. I mean, that's the definition, that's the mindset with which people come to business. Even if they know at the beginning they won't be making money and everything will be an investment. So so when it comes to having YouTube as a side hustle, you really need to put in your head, you really need to have the mindset that YouTube is a business. It's a business that you are running part time. It's not a hobby. Because if you run YouTube as a hobby, you won't be so committed, as you should be. You won't yield the results that you want soon enough, as you want to. And I'm saying soon enough because you will be investing time in making YouTube videos. Maybe you buy some camera to film, to a better phone to film your content. Maybe you buy an iPad. You're using your internet connection, phone, the phone, you pay for the phone, everything. So that's already an investment in your business. And normally, if you have a business, all these costs that I just mentioned, the internet connection, the phone, all of that, you can write it off, as a business. So this is something as well that you should think about. Once you start having an income with YouTube as a side hustle, a decent income, it will be really very beneficial to to have a business, to declare it as a business so that you can write off all your expenses, and you can pay less taxes. So YouTube as a business, as a side hustle, and as a business, side hustle equal business. Remember this; it's very, very worth it. But you really need to change the mindset. Let's talk a little bit about how can you start adopting a business mindset when it comes to having YouTube as a side hustle. You have to treat it as a business, right? So how do you treat a business? You don't just show up to work when you want. You have some working hours. They can be more or less flexible, but you have some working hours, some working days, and that's what you need to have with YouTube. You need to have you can say, okay, all Saturdays from 9 to 12 p.m. I'm going to from 9 to 12 p.m. I'm going to work on my from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'm gonna work on my YouTube side hustle. Maybe it's a Saturday, maybe it's a Saturday and a Thursday in the evenings, in the afternoon. A lot of these successful YouTubers that we see, they started YouTube like that as a side hustle. And they were working in the afternoons after work, in the mornings before going to work, in the weekends. So that's the first thing. When you have a job, and let's say, for instance, when you work for someone else, or even if it's your own business, another business, you are committed to your business. You have some opening hours. If you have a shop, you have some opening hours. You spend time working, so you are really committed to your business. You don't just show up to your business whenever you want. You don't just work the number of hours that you want. Yeah, there's a little bit of flexibility, but especially if it's your business. But at the end of the day, you know that you have to make the numbers. You know that you want specific outcome of your business. You don't want just to spend time in it. That will be a hobby. So with YouTube, make sure that you have a structure, that these days of the week I'm going to dedicate it to YouTube, and I'm going to dedicate this amount of hours on YouTube. Also, as a business, when you are in a business, you have to learn about the business. Yes, yeah. And with YouTube, it's no different. There are courses online that you can take. You can start by one course, then once you finish that course, applying, this is a very, very important thing. Applying what you learn in that course, you can go to another course, right? Do another course. But the most important thing is to apply what you learn in the different courses, because otherwise there's no value in it. Also, you can learn a lot with YouTube videos. There are a lot of tutorials. There are a lot of YouTubers that are ahead of us, and who share very, very valuable information. You have to do your own research. You have to model. You have to search for those people who are already in the same niche, in the same business, that are creating a business on YouTube, that are creating the type of videos that you want to create, and study them. You have to study them. You have to see how they do the thumbnails. You have to see how they do the newsletter. If they are, you have to see how they do the content. And it doesn't mean that from the beginning you have to do that type of content. I mean, with, like, let's say, for instance, if they have an amazing production, video editing, doesn't mean that you have to do that. But at least the content, the topic should be there, and slowly you improve. One time you focus on the lighting, you invest in buying a better lighting, where another time you focus on having a little bit more structure on your video. Slowly and surely you learn. And you learn from the best. You don't have to take a lot of people to model, but I would say at least between 3 and 5 people, and 3 people that you can go to. And what I would suggest is you take one of them, and you just and you see which videos have the most views, and then you model them, and you start doing similar types of videos, adding your own touch. That's the beauty, right, of being a content creator. But you have to model already the winners. Don't start from scratch. Don't invent the wheel. The beauty of YouTube today is that there are a lot of content online that has been proven to be successful, because it has many, many views, and people have gotten a lot of money out of making those videos. So just model them, just emulate them, and you don't have to say the same thing as someone you are modeling in the video, but the topic should be similar, should be the same. Like for me, before making this video, I was thinking, about videos about side hustles. And I did recently a video about passive income on my Spanish channel, and I didn't want to repeat that video here. So I was thinking, oh, what type of video should I do? And I was researching online, and then I came up with this idea, having YouTube as a side hustle, because it's a very powerful side hustle that is available to everyone. Anyone who has an internet connection or has a phone can start with YouTube as a side hustle. But the most important thing with you having YouTube as a side hustle is the mindset. Is the mindset. If you have YouTube as a side hustle, but you still have a hobby mindset, YouTube it's not your side hustle, and you will be just wasting time. You will spend a lot of time without really getting any benefits out of your business. So find people that you can model, structure your working hours, commit to them, and do videos. They do videos that that the algorithm wants and that people have already been interested in. And slowly you will find your way, and maybe someday YouTube won't even become your side hustle. It will be a full-time job, and from YouTube you will have different sources of income. You will be developing other business. You may have your own clothing brand, and sell it on YouTube to your followers, as a lot of people do, right? They have their own shops. You may do consulting, advisory services, to your customers through the service, through the knowledge that you share on YouTube, and you can charge for it. So YouTube offers so many possibilities. YouTube as a platform is an amazing platform. I wish everyone should be on YouTube. I wish everyone to be on YouTube, even if it's as a side hustle. But remember, a side hustle is a business. So with that being said, I'm gonna close the video here. And if you want to have YouTube as a side hustle, remember to adopt that business mindset. See you in the next video. Ciao.